That's what I'm thinking, but
You
this will be
skipped
the
one.
fourth time.
You're
You know,
missing
I want
one
to believe that.
entirely.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Don't
it'd
be
be some
XP
wild
waste.
shit. I'd be out here like
Fucking
skipping whole ass sections then.
Oh, we're doing a
Like,
shirtless stream. Let's go. Oh, let's go. Shirtless stream. Let's fucking go, pussy. Let's go. Free the nipple.
mm, I never had a
what's new?
problem with nipple, you know.
Free it. Free it up.
Nothing. I
And,
bid on my
and
job today. I go to days Monday.
Free
that's
that
fucking
nipple,
tit.
boy. Free that nipple.
What are you gonna do with your weekends, brother?
I'm going
I'll
to
holler
fucking
at
grill
you.
and chill and party and do all sorts of cool shit that weekend goers do.
I'll holler at you.
I'll be literally doing things. So if you want to
We're
join
always
or
doing
invite us
things.
to do things, yeah, I think we're gonna be going to the fucking pool and shit.
Always, dude.
Let's go
That's where
camping.
we're at. You'll see us.
We're hoping that Lytle opens this year. They said they would.
Yeah, they said they would. We're pretty hopeful too. We're big fans.
Oh, I got
Yeah,
3
because
dragons.
all old as a motherfucker. Yeah, how are those dragons?
They're good. They're good. They are children still.
The beach. Go to Lake Shelbyville.
Oh yeah, dude.
We're going to the beach.
Yeah,
Beach.
so my son really wants to go to the beach, and I'm like, we're landlocked. The beach is not gonna be what you want.
Don't lie
And
to
he's like,
him. We got
Don't hook him
beaches
up
in this
like that.
bitch.
He didn't specify, so
Yeah.
but the beach compared to the ocean beach is like way different.
it is.
Mm.
But
If he's never seen the ocean, then it's not.
I guess you're right. I've seen the ocean one time, and it
Yeah.
fucked me up.
There you are.
I was like, wow, man. I'm like,
actually,
people
no,
are
I've
allowed
seen
to
the ocean a
swim
couple
in there.
times.
The ocean is disgusting.
Not as disgusting as a fucking lake.
In
Mm.
Puerto Rico, it was fucking beautiful.
I don't know, dude. The ocean's fucking gross. It's
I
got all
believe
kinds of
that.
nasty shit floating
That
around
shit
in
was
it.
beautiful. They took me to
That's true.
this part they call the Gilligan's Island because it looks like the place, I guess.
Tits.
That or just might be my dad saying some old man shit, you know. It's like it's Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it definitely
it
was.
literally fucking crystal clear blue water. That's where I found this ashtray I use.
Yo. Where you found what?
I found like this
Mermaids?
no, it's a seashell that was broke to where it sits like an ashtray.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was hunting for it actually because I was like, I'm gonna find one that'd be perfect because there's a bunch of broken ones in this little area.
Damn.
I mean, I came back with like a fucking drawstring bag full of fucking seashells.
You came back with a coconut. I know my 10-year-old self, or 10 years ago self would have said to bring back a coconut. And I'm positive I did. Pretty
That
sure I
peel,
vaguely remember.
I drank out of one, but like the peel to bring them back is lost on me because like there's coconuts at Walmart. It doesn't feel that special.
Fuck. You can't husk them.
They husked
You
it
know?
for me. They got a fucking machete and was like, "You want rum in this?"
Yeah.
Yeah, naturally.
Yo. Yo, I'm upgrading my spa right now. You know what that's gonna do?
Yo,
Make your
Logan's right. We
agility
should go
higher.
camping.
I think mine's level 3.
Camping would be pretty sick.
Yo. What's happening? Camping?
Logan said we should go camping, and I was like,
Yeah,
yeah.
dude. My car is like kind of stocked up to go camping. I have all kinds of camping shit. My car's an emergency shelter.
Why do you have all kinds of camping shit in it?
Because my car is an emergency shelter.
Like you intentionally set it up that way, or
Yeah.
you just all of a sudden you had a bunch of camping shit in it, and you're like, this is emergency shelter.
I mean, I've been curating it since Get It Gone. I've been getting a bunch of shit. Oh, all kinds of shit. There's like a completely unopened, got plastic on it, like big first aid kit. There's like
Hell yeah.
there's like
You should always have one of those anyway. It's good
oh
for
yeah,
the kids.
yeah. I got a big one. Yeah, I got some of those blankets. I got some real blankets. I got like some rain gear. I got a tarp. I got like some rope, a knife.
Ooh, dark.
I got
You
like
can go camping right
all the
now with all the things
essentials.
that you have.
Like if I have everything, not everything, but I have like
I think
the
you need to
the
throw a pillow in there and you'd be good.
I think I have one. I think I have everything.
Oh,
I
fuck.
have like all of the super basic need. Like if you were to have to drop everything, get in your car and drive in one direction for, question mark. I have everything you'd need for a while.
Mm.
No
Okay.
food. No food.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got dried meats.
No food.
No food. You need dried meats and canned beans.
A
Yeah.
lot of jerky.
Yeah. How long does jerky keep?
But
As long as you don't throw away the packet thing, you should be good for a minute.
I want to buy some
Right.
jerky in bulk, like
no, you
powdered,
should
like
read the
powdered
packages
jerky.
of the jerky. Yeah, you can get that.
You could store it like a son of a bitch, dude. Have hella of it and just take a spoonful of jerky, and you'd be good.
Pretty sure it says on the bag of jerky to refrigerate after opening.
Yeah.
For real?
Well, fuck me then.
It doesn't really last that long anyway.
Fuck my big
Unless
stupid
you
ass.
get that big ass bag.
Oh no, but I got hella pieces of these things. I got the first age ring. It gives you +1 prayer XP. I got the black ibis mask and boots for thieving. I got diviner's headwear and legwear, and then I got everything but the nimble gloves.
Mm.
The next,
I
oh
think I'm
no,
gonna get the whole thieving outfit.
no, I also have the herb lore, the botanist top, and I feel like I got the smithing one too. Where's that?
Mm. Yeah, the smithing one. I could do that one too.
I feel like I got that bitch.
I'm not sure, dude. What should I buy? What should I buy?
I don't know. Oh, you should buy one of the cool ones. Buy off top. Buy one of the nice, the good, the special ones. Like off
Damn,
top.
I'll be able to buy 2 pieces. I'm gonna buy the same 2 pieces.
Definitely. Get one for like prayer or like something cool that's gonna be fucking sick. Or the shark one or something. Like, I don't know. Get something crazy.
Something crazy.
I could go to 99 fishing with that shark one.
You could do that. That would be fucking awesome.
But yeah, I don't know.
Well, you still got a couple days.
It says a piece.
Yeah, you buy one
got-
piece of the outfit.
Do you guys know like a cool like not state park camping spot?
No. What do you
Backyard.
mean? Like an
Like-
illegal place?
Like it's still legal, but like you don't have to go to like Fox Ridge or some shit.
I do.
Oh yeah, go to fucking Greena or Oakland. Excuse me, Oakland.
No, not like because Walnut's
That's
still a
also
state
a
park.
state park. No, there's a place
Dude.
on your way, like right as you're about to enter Tuscola, coming from Oakland, kind of. Like coming from like Arcola, but like if you're coming from Charleston, you can turn left, go into Tuscola. There's a place called Woods.
Woods.
Yep.
No, I was trying to look it up the other day. I was trying to see if there's like any weed friendly campgrounds.
It's pretty weed friendly.
They're all
it's
weed
all open.
friendly. It's outside, dude. What the
Well,
fuck?
I mean, like to a degree, and like, but the state parks are like they have signs.
That says no weed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Really?
Woods.
because state
It's
parks are
just,
still like a federal thing.
yeah,
Well, I don't give a
Woods is
fuck.
just a lot. It's
I'd
a
be
big
like-
open area. There's some
Yeah,
woods.
I'd be like, don't approach me while I'm smoking, and then you won't find out what I'm smoking. Go the fuck away.
I was more or less like looking for a campground that was chill or something. I don't know. They're all like in
Oh,
the
we're
state
doing
park.
that one. I told you that one place that we were going. I can't even remember what it's called. But it's that Southern Illinois place.
What do you mean you're going? I don't know what you're talking about.
We're going, remember? And you were like, oh yeah, I've been there with my brother. It's like,
Oh no, you're gonna
Kevin.
stop. You're not going to Southern Illinois, brother. You're going north.
oh, what? Oh, for real? Sorry.
Yeah, the water park,
Oh. Oh, I thought that was Southern Illinois.
the bear. I can't remember what it's
Yeah.
called now.
Yeah, see, same. Yeah, I have fucking no idea.
Bear Lodge of sorts. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're going north.
I need more
Shawnee
track.
Forest is south. Starved Rock's still a national park technically. Or a state park.
State Park.
It's a really cool one though. I'm not gonna lie. If you get a chance to go like looking around, you should. It's got some pretty neat spots. I don't. There's this one spot I couldn't tell you how to get to it, but you would like walk up this trail that led up to these rocks, and they have like natural pools of water in them.
Ooh. And
Mm-hmm.
can I dip in them?
And they did. I mean, and they were doing it. Paired, so I was like, yeah, you guys knock yourself out. And one of them didn't jump out far enough, and his fucking foot on the rocks, and it wasn't chill anymore.
See,
Yeah, you gotta hit the center, dude, because that's a deep spot. It's doable.
No, I just want to dip
I
in
mean,
them.
but I mean, you could walk and do it. You didn't have to like jump.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll just fucking calmly dip.
Hell yeah. I'm at the Grand Exchange making flat packs on someone's portable thing. Getting like fucking 1900 XP per rip, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a badass motherfucker. Let me tell you something about me.
Chill.
I have to go tune my shit. I have 4 minutes left. I thought since I was already attuned and I capped that it would keep me tuned, but it didn't.
Yeah. You wish.
Ain't that a
Yeah,
fucking crazy bitch?
I haven't heard from Mike about going camping this year.
Man, he probably doesn't fuck with you, dude.
Well, normally his wife. The wives handle it usually. His wife will head out to Sydney, because we're both bad at like communicating.
Oh, 67 construction. Let's fucking go, chat. Roll that shit up right now.
If you think you should do it right now, just set the date and tell them, and get the cabins or whatever you do. You know?
There's primitive camping. That's pretty cheap.
Yeah. That's
But
Indiana though. Fuck all that noise.
But they do have these like little silo cabins and shit like that. They're pretty cool. The silo cabins would be sick because you can get those like right on their pond.
Yeah.
We got like one of the little bit bigger ones because we thought the girls were gonna come with, and then they bailed on us.
Damn. You guys trying to open up a.
And they had to make a cute park out of it too, so like they would have had fun.
Oh, nice.
They suck sometimes.
What'd you say, Fiend? I'm sorry.
Nothing.
I thought you should ask a question.
I'm about to find out if it's gonna give me the XP I want or not. I'm about to find out.
It's gonna.
I feel like I'm.
Tiller, did I tell you how I fucking licked the weed store? Did I tell you how I stand them?
How'd you stay in?
No, it's not giving me fucking real XP, bro.
Because you told him the cart was bad, but then it wasn't.
Yeah. Is your shit
I actually
paused?
just picked.
Boink.
I just picked up a mango, 2 gram box today, and then like a half of some head cracker.
Okay.
And the Good Green brand.
Okay. The Good Green's like ass.
I mean, yeah, I didn't get like crazy high, so I was like, all right.
No, Good Green's like one of the very few brands that I refuse. I will not. That and what's the dude name? He was a lumberjack.
Paul Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan. That shit's ass.
Yeah. Agree.
All right, well, that's awesome.
Unless you're getting shake.
I know I got some decent nug. Ass in what way?
Paul Bunyan's ass because it's like low quality and it's like stemmy, hella stems and shit, and it doesn't get you high. Good green. It's like clippings, and it like doesn't get you high.
Oh, I got nugs, and
My
I didn't
mom
get as
works
high as
there.
I thought I would,
Yeah.
but I didn't. I only hit it like twice because it was like I gotta see what happens first. So I couldn't find like a. This one was like a 28%. So I couldn't get anything lower. I could have. I didn't trust the brand. There's a couple of them I don't trust out there.
Yeah.
Which one? Which one do you not trust?
Cresco, Rhythm.
Cresco?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not huge on rhythm.
Rhythm.
There's one brand I really liked, but I was like, I think I saw something where I shouldn't trust them either. The And Shine. I got one of their cards anyway. But
Okay, and Shine is probably my number one favorite.
yeah, dude, the last 2 jars I've gotten from there were like perfect.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. They have the best deals, best weed.
Best deals, best yeah, great weed. They had the blueberry cookies again, and I was like, should I do it or change it up?
If I find a weed that I fucking love, I'll keep getting it until it goes out of style. Like I think it was called Banana Conda. I got Banana Conda for so fucking long.
I'm Banana Conda don't. But I was feeling. I thought I saw something bad about Anshine. So that's on me. But they had some good deals and some shit that wasn't like it was like around the 28% too.
Are we talking about flour? Yeah, we're talking about flour.
Yeah, I'm talking about flour.
I haven't gotten flour in so long.
What?
I haven't gotten flour in like a long time.
Sorry, you come over.
Yeah.
I'll smoke it with you.
It sucks, dude. If they raise the prices on weed, like with all this shit going on, I'm gonna have to for sure.
Yeah, you could come over here. Fuck.
I mean, I have yards, but I just
flowers. It's different, you know.
I just can't smoke it here, so I just don't even get it because I don't want to go outside.
Yeah, I was gonna say just go on a sweet walk.
Yeah, I'll be walking every 2 hours, dude. I don't want to go on that many walks because then my kid's like, I want to go. And then I gotta get him out there.
But I mean, you do have like the perfect little walking road.
We do, yeah, it's nice. No, it's nice. But it's busy over here with that hill, dude, that goes down in the woods, and then the hill from Kogel.
I'll be walking that bitch. You might need to get like a reflector vest or some shit. But...
Yeah, legitimately. There's no sidewalk, and there's no sidewalk on the other. Yeah, it's not the best walking spot. If you go any way other than that dead end, like if you go down that dead end way, that's a perfect little like short walk. But if you want to go any other way, you gotta be careful. It's dangerous over here, dude. It really is. Nah, dead homies, that shit dangerous.
No, I'm dead home.
I wonder if there's a Slayer outfit you can get. Is there?
It's gonna be warmer out though. I'll probably have some fires and come over and chief.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But I need to get this pulse off from OJ though, because I gotta cut down this tree branch.
Yeah. Maybe see your house for the first time ever.
No, there's just like a tree branch that dangles like right over my fire pit. It's getting low because of the fucking vines.
Hell yeah.
I kind of want to just cut the tree down, but I'm like, that's like my only tree, so I don't know.
Fuck trees.
Unless they bear fruit.
Yeah, exactly. My cherry tree's small. So I have no trees.
But it's still a tree. You're getting there, bud.
Yeah. I'm pretty stoked about that finger line.
Yeah, that's kind of sick.
If my thieving's 120 and your thieving's 120, then why the heck you yelling at me so funny? Yeah, I got bars.
Goddamn, bro. To the chat.
Alright, let's do this. I'm trying to get my defense up with these last 2 hours and 43 minutes of double XP. Trying to get my defense to 70 so I can wear the chromium armor.
Necronium.
You know,
Chromium?
the
What'd you call me?
chromium.
That's great.
And I already have it. Bone Pick gave it to me like hella long ago. And he gave me the chromium weapons, but I'm just trying to get the armor for now. So I'm just banging out hella Slayer. We're just fucking blowing through tasks like a fucking badass.
Does it give you a bunch?
Hella. They're all different. But yeah, hella. It's going pretty quick. And I'm a total badass, so I'm just fucking dudes up. It just goes by how fast you can fuck up hella dudes, basically. Turn on those prayers, dude. To get set up.
I'm asking AI what right now.
Asking what?
AI what I should buy with the double XP token.
Oh, it'll tell you fucking same shit I told you. Because I asked it. The ones that are hard to get. Or lore smithing could be. Something.
Do you get any weekend days off, Logan?
No, that's my Monday. Saturday's my Monday. There's no, bro, we're so fucking short staffed, it's insane. The weekends are extra fucking hard because that's when all the counselors are off because they're like, you know, Monday through Friday. They don't even Monday through Friday that shit. Some of the counselors do 10 hours a day, 4 days a week. So some are fucking Tuesday through Friday. So the weekends, there's absolutely no one there. So if we have some kind of crisis, like someone threatens to kill themselves, I have to call somebody who's sitting at their house and say, blah, blah, blah. and then they
Like,
have
I'm fucking watching a movie. Can this wait?
right. They have to talk me through it over the phone, basically. And yeah,
But they had their nap time.
yeah,
Did you get them juice?
it's wild. And like, I don't know. There's a lot of problems. Run into a lot of problems because there's no counselors, dude. I mean, there'll be
How
like
do you
one
get to be a
counselor.
counselor?
You gotta get your CBAC or CADC. It's just some credential, some like thing. You gotta do some written stuff. There's like book work, and then like you gotta have hours. Like I basically would have to work at the Hour House as a counselor for free, so I don't get paid for the hours that I work there as a counselor for like a
It's like
certain
intern.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it does. It says the fucking. I'm sorry. Yeah,
What?
it told me to get the black ibis,
Yeah,
which is
I got.
it's the thieving.
I've done it. I got 2 of them.
It says it's the hardest to obtain.
Damn.
Attained from the pyramid plunder minigame.
Yep.
Nice, I'm gonna buy it.
Decent. I got the mask and the shoes.
Nice.
The shoes are like pointy and curly.
Oh, it only gives you 5%?
Something like that. Yeah.
Wow, and there's only 4 pieces.
Damn.
Crazy. I mean, it's gonna save me. Nah.
Are you buying the full outfit?
I mean, it's telling me to. The next one is the Master Rune Crafter outfit.
Ooh, I'm jealous. I wish I
Or
would
the
save
Botanist
mine.
outfit, essential for high level herblore.
I got that.
Or the
I got one of
golden
those.
mini.
I got the chest piece for the botanist outfit. It's cool as shit. There's little potions in it, like a little like bandolier, like a little ammo pouch with potions. It's fucking nuts. And I made some potions with it on today. Got my shit up to 62.
It's dope.
Dude, I look like a badass, and I am a badass. I'm working ass.
Bad as fuck.
You want to eat that ass? Alright, man.
I love you.
Good night, I love you.
Gotta make sure before it's too late, you know.
That's my baby mama chat. Shout out baby mama. She's tripping about the hantavirus, so she'll be with me
Yeah.
when we come to you. When we go to your mom's.
Now they have mites there. You're fucked.
Shit. Just keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah, we're not. If the the cancer virus is coming. We're not going there. We gotta go like, shit. I don't even know.
No,
Shelter
we
in
gotta go
place.
there.
It's a new plan. That's a different plan, dude.
We gotta go there and just,
Kill the mice.
I mean, just put decon out.
Ingest it and probably keep the hantavirus away.
And also, don't get bitten by them.
Yeah.
Wear like Carhartt jumpsuits and shit. And respirators and shit, you know? Like gas mask looking type B. Yeah, I gotta get some respirators for the back of my car.
Get some KN95s.
Dude.
Well, just use the bed sheets work really similar.
Just
Yeah.
got folded a couple times.
But if I have the option to get the KN95s prior, but I
Pay
also,
now before it pops off.
for real, you know, I want the ones I
$200
had.
a box.
I had some during. Are they the respirators like with the cans on the side?
No,
Oh,
those
Well.
are like the standard.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
get the
that's
ones with the
nice.
can on the side, dude. I found 2 of them during COVID when I was homeless, running around Mattoon. I found 2 freaking respirators with cans, and I was wearing them. Or one of them.
That's crazy. I would go scuba diving with that shit.
Go
Hell
scuba diving.
yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, I would fucking definitely be scuba diving with that shit.
But yeah, dude, I
Yeah,
was
go
running
scuba
around outside Mattoon, 4 a.m. on meth, homeless, respirator on, book bag, and it was like hardcore COVID. Like it was a point in time where people were just fucking terrified. Like New York, Times Square was completely empty, like shit like that. And I was just walking around. I was homeless, bro. I didn't know where to go, and no one would let me. You know, it was COVID. No one's letting me in. Like it sucked. And I had this dude with me that no one wanted in their house, so it was like I was double fucked.
Hanging out with a shady character.
Yeah, he was a shady dude. He was cool to me.
Is he like just like a little fucking weirdo or like?
Well, he was like 40 and doing the same thing I was doing, like just running around being a homeless Mattoon dude. He'd just like go to people's house. He was known for going to people's houses and just hanging out for long periods of time,
Just
and
fucking
just like
posting
mooching
there.
off of them. I'd at least bring something to the table. I'd have like a bag full of tricks, like a bunch of cool shit with me that I could give people wherever I go. It's like pick whatever you want.
Trinkets.
Like everything's for sale. Like everything I'm wearing, everything in my bag is just go nuts.
Not like fucking bracelet guy on the
Oh,
rave.
Yeah, especially with meth, dude. You just go to someone's house, just start emptying out your whole bag, like protocol,
It's
dude.
like
Like clockwork.
4
bro.
buttons from some random coat.
Yep.
A watch, but without the watch part, just the band.
Shit. You probably have like a whole thing of like watch parts. Oh, 69 defense. Let's go, chat. Let's freaking go. No, deadass. Oh, we'll hit 70 here, dude. I'm getting hella XP from these guys. We'll just hit 70. We'll go past the Slayer task if that's the XP.
Alright, I'm out of here. I'm tired.
I just got here, bro.
But yeah, I went from 30,000 a lap to 800. Like, don't even start with me right now.
Probably because you be getting off and shit all like that. And they want you on more consistently. Grown ass man,
Wow.
by the way.
I'll walk away from a game that does that to me.
Grown ass man, by the way. Yo, my dad's in the chat. What's up, father? Father, shout out Faja.
Pasha.
Faja, can you hear me? My kid started saying that the other day. He goes, Faja, 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 Faja. I'm like, how do you know?
It's inherited.
Oh, shout out, Dad. Daddy-o, shout out. Yo, roll up a Play-Doh snake for my dad, bro. He's cooking stuff in Indiana. Shout out, Indiana cooking. Roll up that Play-Doh snake for the father.
The father.
Is Fiend still here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
he's still there.
Yeah, just stay, dude. You
Yeah,
gotta
no,
get off.
dude. He just got here.
Just talk to us till you fall asleep, like so it'll be like we're laying right
Friday.
next to you.
Oh, it's not Friday. You just need to get on earlier. I was on since 8 o'clock.
It's my Friday. It's my
It's not
Saturday.
Thursday, but you know, Thursday's pretty
No.
chill.
Come
just-
over.
I get paid on Thursdays. Alright.
Just lay the phone under your pillow and just talk to us till you
Sure.
fall asleep. And just close your little eyes and we'll just talk about memories past.
Memories past.
The real OG. B-dubs. The OG B-dubs. Brett Walters. The OG B-dubs in the chat. Let's go. Let's get a
B-dub.
Let's get a B-dub.
Oh, is he
for
watching?
B-dub.
Oh, nice. Damn, you're watching the chat? That's the first time ever.
Yeah, I don't watch the
watching
chat.
I want to like pop off on some shit.
Yeah.
Alright.
I never do.
You just
Well,
need
because
to
no one's
share
ever
on
on,
screen.
so I never think to look at it. So it kind of is like a vicious cycle.
You gotta start sharing it. You gotta get.
Well,
pump up some numbers.
I don't really want to share it because I don't want like everyone from my work to see it. You know, so I want to pop off in like the Ukraine or something. You know, like let's share it to some Japanese guys or something. You know.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I'll send it to the dude who was messaging me about Winwan walnuts. He's
Yes.
I think he's Chinese. Yeah, he's right here.
He'll probably tell you thank you.
He will. He's super nice. Hell yeah. What do you guys think about them gas prices? What are those gas prices like in Indiana?
Too
I
damn
made sure not
high.
to look.
Hmm?
I made sure not to look on my way to work today.
Oh, they're $4.99 last I knew.
You can't miss it, dude.
Yes, and
Actually, you have to get gas in the morning because I forgot to do it on my way home.
I wouldn't.
Except for it.
I wouldn't. If you can get away with
I
not,
shouldn't.
just do that. Just wait.
there's more.
Well, I waited when it first started going up. Like it went up and then it was going down by like 2 cents every day, you know. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna wait for it to. I'm like, it's gonna go back down to what it was. They just, you know, hit us with the little boom, like maybe like the pregame. You know, I thought it was kind of a pregame for what was to come. So I was like, it'll go back down. And so while I was waiting for it to go back down, it got down to like 386, and then boom, I wake up and it's 489. Get real. Get freaking real right now. Like, and the president keeps saying we're winning, and it's like, it doesn't feel like we're winning to me, bro.
We're not winning at the pump, dude.
Even at the pump,
No,
we're not
we don't.
winning in a lot of ways, bro.
Like,
Like,
someone
no,
asked him, they were like, "What's the deal? What's up on gas being so high?" He's like, "Yeah,
There's
well,
literally
Iran
no way
doesn't
to
have
do
missiles."
that.
He's like,
There's
"That's
no
it.
way.
he said Iran doesn't have what?
We're safe from Iran. That's the price of these." He's like, "So what if they're high? They don't have missiles."
No.
Everyone has missiles, dude. No one cares
Alright,
about
no,
missiles.
That was like the gist of me. He's like, "Oh yeah, gas $5." Well, Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons now, so you're welcome.
No. No.
Well, I don't think it's any of our business who has nuclear weapons, because wasn't there the agreement that no one should use them? So
Yeah, pretty much.
if there's that agreement that no one should use them, why can't
How is no
people
one else
do
in the same
science?
boat as us, though? Like, we made a good point that it's like their religion. That's why they want to fucking have the nuclear weapons.
It really is.
Yeah, and
the
that's
reason
fine and
why,
shit,
because
but
they
like,
call us the devil, and it's
How is
that.
it? How do they
but
not think
that
the
could
same thing
also,
about Russia
this is
or
a fucked
China?
up thought, is that could also be propaganda from our
Right.
government. Why we believe in them being like that, and why Russia is thought to be that way as well.
Just like, do they think the same thing about Russia?
What?
Like, does Iran think Russia is the devil too?
no.
No.
Why not? What's the difference?
Because they're not Israel, and they don't have a democracy.
Because they're all from like that same side of that Eurasia continent, so they have the mindset that us Westerners are like this materialistic pieces of shit. Like,
And Israel is just like the Western smack dab in not Western.
I mean, I feel like that's for them to work out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, nah, we're fucked. There's no way that we can win this, so we're fucked.
yeah, we're gonna send ground
It's tough.
troops, and then we're gonna lose that invasion, and then shit's gonna really pop off because we're gonna be pissed. We're gonna go underprepared because we got this big ass dick, you know. We got our big ass cock, so we're either gonna go in unprepared, or we're gonna send in some more new
They'll never
future
win.
weapons.
All they have to do is survive, and they will. And that's it. They'll just grow and get backed by China and Russia again.
Not if we pull out, you know, one of our wild cards. UAP.
That's a nuke. And most of our country says no to nukes.
UAP.
And if we shot a nuke out, Russia would be like boner to like, hey, I'm gonna.
No,
send
not a
one away.
nuke. I'm not talking about a nuke. I'm talking about our wild nukes. No one will ever fire a nuke. I'm pretty confident in that. I'm like almost 100%. No one will fire a nuke, but we got these wild cards, these future weapons. You know, like when we went to Venezuela, they were hitting motherfuckers with that crazy precision and shit. Those motherfuckers had
We can't do that.
goddamn
We can't do
auto
that in
aim and
Iran.
shit.
We can't do that in Iran.
We will, dude. We will. We'll get
We
with sound.
cannot. We can't.
Why?
Because all it takes is one person to survive. Literally.
I don't know what that means. To what? Repopulate the world?
That's
Or
another.
like,
That's another. No, all it takes is one Iranian, and that's what I'm saying is
to
like
do what?
it won't. Because we'll take out one group of people, and then another group of people beside them will just be like, all right, now we're the guys.
We'll just keep getting them, dude,
That's
with
where
our
you
sound.
get, like Hezbollah and shit. Like all we're gonna do is give another, you know, militia power essentially.
Then
It's just gonna keep.
make
It's
sure
a
they're
revolving door. We
Well,
just need
then-
to like. That's why people are pissed off at Trump, because it could have been like, all right, yeah, they'll do their little shitty terrorist attack, but as long as they keep the Strait of Hormuz open, you know, it's like the greater of the evil, like the, you know, sacrifice some for the many.
hell yeah.
Because now the strait's fucked, and that's not. Who gives a shit about oil? It's fertilizers and shit, and sadly, it will be Africa and shit that get starved out the most from that.
Damn.
And they're already kind of fucking starving, aren't they?
I feel like
That's what they
probably.
say.
They gotta be.
I heard that on a podcast that Africa's gonna be hit really hard by that.
Poor guys.
and that next year we're gonna get hit really hard.
You're gonna be drafted starting in December.
I think he's just gonna pull out, and we're gonna have to pay a heavy tax on oil,
Yeah.
and I mean on cargo going
Yeah.
through the strait. But don't we find out like Monday or something?
Iran will
I
give
think
up.
No, I think
Possibly.
Monday is the end of the ceasefire. I don't really know. I haven't been paying super close attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just catch bits and
I-
pieces.
I basically just be waiting for the endings of ceasefires,
Yeah.
because then shit pops off, and then we find out if somebody won, and then they don't, and then they go back to the table, or they don't. I don't know.
Ceasefires are lame as hell because it's like pump faking for one, and then not everyone stops. So there's always someone that's like, oh, you get a sanction, you get a little a little sanction. You shot after the ceasefire was called. It's like, bro, come on,
Israel, dog.
just fight it, dude. Just go in a big ass field and just fucking you know.
Just send in 100 dudes, no knives, no guns, and have them all brawl.
For real, like there should be ways other than taking out fucking platoons and shit, you know? Like they should have a better
Dude,
way.
Russia's lost to millions of people. We're talking about this war. Like, what about Russia and Ukraine? Like,
For real.
they've lost hell of
But-
people.
Oh, 70
I don't
defense, let's fucking go, bro.
I don't know
Let's-
about Ukraine's numbers, but I heard today that it was like 2 million or 3 million
Oh,
people,
my bad.
which is
There's a lot of
insane
them.
from Russia. And I heard a long time ago that Ukraine, it might have been Russia, I don't know, but they're using like 42-year-old like soldiers, like 50-year-old soldiers.
Yeah,
Nice.
they're
That's
taking
fucking
everybody they
tragic.
can get.
That's fucking tragic.
Yeah. You gotta get it how you live.
Yes. Fuck. I'm fighting for Cambodia.
For real.
Hell yeah.
Alright, I'll see you. We're never gonna win though.
I don't know, dude.
it's-
I think we'll be alright. We'll be fucked.
Yeah,
We're gonna
We'll
be
be
fucked.
alright, but this is gonna be the new Vietnam for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Without soldiers being sent
Right.
in.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be like oh look, we fucked around, and then oh look, we did find out. Bummer.
I'd say World War III, but France isn't on shit. We all know France is not gonna be on shit. Like, they're not on shit. Like they're literally smoking cigarettes and like painting and shit, making clothes.
I don't know, man. Germany gonna fuck around again because I think they're growing their army. So
They
Yeah, I
better.
said something about them
Nope.
trying to have like the best army or like something along those
Man.
lines, or they're trying to have the best defenses.
so
Better
they'll
chill.
end up taking over France, and then they'll get to the UK, and then the UK will ask for our help, and we'll just be like, nah.
Be like, we already fucking killed those guys once.
Really, we'll be like, no, our shit is broken from the Iran war in 2026.
We just
So-
gotta whip out the future weapons. They gotta stop holding back on the fucking Element 115 shit, you know?
Dog, that's all Project Bluebeam.
I don't care.
They got your ass.
No. No.
But are you ready? Are you ready to unite under a common enemy?
Hell yeah.
Are you ready to call your Chinese, Russian, and like Iranian brother and be like, "Hey, we got a common enemy now"?
I've been ready. Are you ready? I don't know if
No,
you're
because
ready.
after those aliens will fuck us up.
Yeah, no, if they wanted to fuck us up, it would be done before we even knew it was happening. So that's how you know they're not bad, because they would have if they wanted to. It wouldn't be
That's real perception.
like, it wouldn't even be like
You
a
know
fight.
shit about these aliens, dog. You don't know.
If they're advanced enough to travel here or hide
Or
from us for
They
that
could be
long.
watching us right now. Like,
Exactly. If they're advanced enough to be watching us right now, then what the fuck? Then they definitely
What the fuck?
this
are
Iran
not gonna fuck
war
us up.
could be like the straw that broke the camel's back. We don't know.
I just died.
We don't know.
No, yeah. If they wanted us dead, they would have killed us. Because they're that advanced. Like, if
I don't
they're.
know.
You don't just be that advanced and, like, just sit
I don't know
around.
if I agree. They could be. Then which ones are you even talking about? You know, do you
Right.
believe in multiple?
The ones that we're going to interact with. Yeah, they're definitely hella. Because the universe is gigantic, so there's definitely multiple. If there's one, there's multiple. If we're not the only one, then there's a hella.
Right.
And you're saying all of them kept up the mindset that we shouldn't let these people know. We should just like fuck up their cornfields and play with their buttholes.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they
Do
all
you
say
think the
one
Men in
thing.
Black has just done their job really well?
Maybe.
What, covering
Maybe
it
they're
up?
killing it.
I don't think they
They're
have
covering
covered
it
it
up.
up. They just lie about it.
They're just like Peggy and Bill went on a trip and then they won the lottery, so they're not coming back.
Yeah. Did I really just lose all my shit? What the fuck? How do I get it back?
You're playing Iron Man, you can't.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, fuck. I
Alright,
might peace
I'm
out
gonna
too,
hear
so
it.
I'm gonna try. I'm trying so hard.
No, you're not.
I keep falling. Dude, this time it's like, I think it's almost done with the episode and it faded out. I was like, how?
Fade it out. Bye.
Oh, man.
Bye. Love you.
Love you.
They left, chat. Tap that heart button. We gotta get back up in there. Oh, we're done, actually. We don't. And we got 70. Ooh, let's put that shit on. We got that Necromium shit. Let's go. Alright. We finna. Where's the Necromium? I thought I had Necromium. I could have swore I had Necromium. I had like axes and shit. I had like armor and axes and shit. I have full Necromium. How do I get Necromium? What else can I wear? Can I wear Darrock stuff? How do I get Necromium? 70 defense. I can't even. Can I get bandanas off the Great Exchange, bro? Bandanas are reset. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, let's put this shit on. Let's get this shit rolling. Cause I want to get 70 attack. Yo, we got full bandos. Let's go. Let's go. We got full bandos. Let's go. We're fucking killing it, dude. Damn, I need 75 and get these consoles. Son of a bitch. Awesome. Okay. We got full bandos. Let's get some dragon eggs. Got full bandos. That's what's up. We really out here. We doing this shit now.
Something very exciting. Ruinous weapons. Let's talk about it. So whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. The update coming on the 11th of May is going to be doing a lot in terms of quality of life. You won't need to bank before doing floors anymore, which will allow you to easily hop into dungeoneering, as your items will simply be de-equipped for you. Skill doors will no longer punish failures. Ironman players will be able to play with main players. Complexity will be simplified, and best of all, the mini-map will show you which key is needed to open up an unopened door.
Ooh.
At the same time, awful and confusing systems like the prestige system will be removed and replaced with something simpler, being floor buffs. Now, in their original reveal blog about the Dungeoneering Remaster rework, they mentioned perhaps reducing or removing token rewards from both Elite Dungeons and Archaeology Collection logs. After some consideration and community feedback, they've decided to keep those methods unchanged and instead are going to be buffing token gains with more dungeoneering, which was already the fastest way of getting them, but hey, they're buffing them. The main buff here is that token rewards have been increased to 20% of floor experience, so double the amount you were getting before. And there's also a first-time completion bonus for completing the final floor each feed. This is pretty significant, but at the same time, it is worth noting that you won't be able to stack up graduate cards for even more token gains here. Those are going to be but 20% or a fifth of what you gain in XP and tokens is really, really good. Now, you're going to need those increased token rates because the real meat of this update is what breathed life into dungeoneering in the first place. The rewards. And oh boy, are they juicy. The first and probably the most exciting are the brand new Chaotix 2.0 called Ruinous Weapons. These are weapons for all combat classes, and yes, that includes necromancy, with tier 90 base damage, tier 100 accuracy, and if you're fighting creatures or daemon, using these weapons, they're juiced up and give you 12% more damage. So these are mobs in the real world, such as Seekers, Edimus, Soul Gazers, Frost Dragons, Coherent Demons, you name it. Now, as you can see, they have a sort of red recolored look opposed to the base Chaotix, which have also been added for the Necromancer combat style, by the way, and some kind of warped effect. And that has a reason. These ruinous weapons will cost you 1 million total dungeoneering tokens, whether that's two-handed or the main and offhand, and a warped stone, which is a tradable drop, you guessed it, from warped floor bosses only. I say warp stone if you are getting the dual wield, so for example the rapiers or the crossbows, you actually need one warp stone for both the main hand and then another for the offhand, which is unfortunate. The next reward is just as good, but it doesn't require as many dungeoneering tokens. It's the Chaotic Grimoire. This thing will cost you 150,000 dungeoneering tokens, and its pages will cost you 2,000 to pop. So 45 minutes will cost you 2k dungeoneering tokens. That's totally fine. This thing gives you plus 7% critical strike chance. That's crazy. This is obviously weaker than Erebord's Grimoire, which gives you 12% additional crit chance, but this one costs dungeoneering tokens, so it's a book that people will be rocking when spending 5 million GP per hour on pages doesn't make financial sense, which it doesn't in many bits of content, other than high-level PDF. There's also going to be a brand new scroll, which has a 2% chance to send excavated materials directly to your storage or bank, which is simply going to save you porter charges when training archaeology. Nice little addition, if you ask me. Necromancy will be getting the same necklace and lower-level rewards that the other combat styles have. There will be some retro selection robes to pick up for 2 million. And finally, there will be an infamous but very fitting fur pet for 750,000 dungeoneering tokens, and a 110 which you can buy recolors for at 100,000 dungeoneering tokens each. There is more to this update, and I do intend to cover it on release, so if you're interested, make sure you subscribe. But this is what a good remaster looks like. It's going to have a bunch of quality of life, there's going to be a visual update, and there's new relevant Props to Jagex. This looks like a very exciting update for Blink release. Catch you guys in the next one.
Damn it.
The true endgame of MMORPGs is fashion. You've heard that quote a lot, I bet. Wherever there's character customization, there will be fashion. World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, Guild Wars 2, Star Wars The Old Republic, Elder Scrolls Online, many more probably, even RuneScape 3. Those games, they allow you to participate in transmogrification. Players can show themselves in whatever outfit they want, regardless of what they have equipped. The best gear doesn't always mean the best looking gear. Thanks to transmog systems,
Okay.
you can essentially put an illusion spell on yourself, showing everyone else a version of you that's a shameless lie. Wearing your vested slot or your high-level gear while still looking exactly the way that you'd like to.
What are we doing?
Pardon me, ma'am.
Slayer. Or what?
I bet you she doesn't even look like that. She's probably not even actually wearing that
Yeah, let's do
that skimpy one piece, probably decked out head to toe in some real masculine armor. However, in this here world of Gielinor, the old school Gielinor, it's never existed here, and it never will. In old school RuneScape, the endgame is also fashion, but it takes it to a whole new level. If you see somebody wearing something, that's exactly what he's wearing. And as sensical as that sentence sounds, that's actually an extremely rare thing in MMORPGs. In fact, this might be the last actively played MMO where transmog does not exist. In old school, if you want to look a certain way, you've got to commit to it. Long term, this is one of the greatest things about old school RuneScape that allows it to...
But what about respected mainstream businesses? Do any of them have good theories about the mind and how it relates to wave function collapse? Renowned Nobel Prize winner and mathematician Roger Penrose constructed such a theory of mind called orchestrated objective reduction, or ORC-OR for short. It argues that within the brain's microtubules, space-time itself exists in superposition, and that there is a gravitational component of that space-time superposition that builds up until it reaches a threshold. Once it hits this threshold, the microtubules lose their quantum coherence and the wave function collapses. But before the collapse and during the microtubules lose their and that there is a gravitational component of that space-time superposition that builds up until it reaches a threshold. Once it hits this threshold, the microtubules lose their quantum coherence and the wave function collapses. But before the collapse and during the gravity buildup, there is a fleeting window of time, a space where nothing is set in stone, where all outcomes exist in a quantum haze. Could this be where free will comes into play?
So consciousness is the other way around. It depends on that choice which nature makes all the time, where the state becomes one or the other rather than a superposition of one and the other. And when that happens, there is what we're saying now, an element of proto-consciousness takes place. Proto-consciousness is, roughly speaking, the building block out of which actual consciousness is constructed.
Penrose believes his theory of orchestrated objective reduction preserves free will. So consciousness is not a pure computation. Or to put it differently, mashing up Penrose and Wheeler, reality is a computation, but free will and intention is driving that computation. It's in the command center. Free will itself is computationally irreducible. Also, if we have free will, that seems computationally irreducible.
Yes, and so that's the other part of it is if you add free will into a computational process, which, by the way, most computer scientists don't want to do, and which most scientists don't want to do, because they think of free will as just being randomness, quantum randomness, right? In fact, in computers, there's usually in every language, there's a command to generate a random number. But technically, it's not really random, because it's using a well-defined algorithm based on some key phrase and maybe the time, in nanoseconds or milliseconds that you actually made that request. And so the only true randomness in computers comes from quantum computing, because quantum computing is relying on the actual quantum effect of superposition collapsing into a position, and that is like the only true randomness. And so scientists try to define free will as the same as that kind of randomness. But if you take a different approach, which is this is a computer program that's running, but there's a player and an avatar, the player can actually make the choice.
Yeah.
So you have now introduced free will, but you need to step out of the system to introduce free will. And that is the same problem why scientists didn't want to deal with consciousness.
They prioritize assertion. Now let's get back to quantum mechanics. In general relativity, time and gravity are coupled. In quantum mechanics, gravity becomes so weak that it basically becomes a negligible force. So again, if time and gravity are coupled, why wouldn't time also become negligible or superpositional at subatomic quantum scales? In Schrödinger's equation, you have position and momentum superpositionality. The idea that before their observation, subatomic particles don't exist in discrete locations. Their locations are probabilistic. Excuse my French, but that never made any fucking sense to me. Now I'm going to propose something very speculative and probably a bit heretical. That at subatomic levels, just as gravity breaks down, time breaks down. Okay, maybe gravity is a force and time is not, but the two are still coupled, and it begs the important question. Why do we take time for granted as a classical axiom on a subatomic level when we don't understand gravity at all on a subatomic level? So maybe time superpositionality is what causes position and momentum superpositionality. In other words, there's probably some time-based wave function that is upstream of our position and momentum wave function. Well, that would change the Penrose theory a bit. Maybe the brain actually decoheres time into a singular linear timeline. The brain might be the reason we experience linear time. And when the brain is in a particularly coherent state, it might be able to do some interesting things related to time. If the brain is a quantum system, as Penrose thinks, it likely has access to shards of the future. It's almost like your mind is like a stylus, and there's like an LP player or something, like a record, and it's choosing the particular timelines or something, and those sort of already pre-exist. You know, maybe it's just up to the mind to move the stylus or something.
Yeah. Well, I think that's an interesting way to look at it. I look at it more like it runs into simulation, and the universe is in fact a quantum computer, right? And you can run the game state forward, but then you can come back and change the game state as well. Like you can save the game state and say, okay, I ran that. Now I'm going to run this other one. Let's see which one is optimal for me, and then that's the one that I'm going to let move forward. But there was an even more heretical branch of physics that began to grow in momentum mid-century. One that went a bit farther than Wheeler, although he did actively entertain it at times. This is the notoriously murky field of parapsychology, or the study of mind-matter interactions.
The mind is no longer limited by the parameters of the body. A person's consciousness and awareness is able to transcend space and time and describe what is going on hundreds or thousands of miles away, or hours or days in the future.
If you believe the findings of parapsychology, maybe the mind is collapsing Schrödinger's wave equation. Despite the modern stigma around studying this stuff now, it was popping up at many elite universities across the United States. Duke, Stanford, Washington University, St. Louis, even Princeton, all had vital parapsychology departments. A friend of mine who will remain anonymous, but now runs a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund, happened to help run that lab at Princeton. It was called the Princeton Engineering Anomalous Research Lab, and he was an expert in one of its staple experiments, the random event generator. Take a well-calibrated device that produces binary outputs based on conventionally thought of as random processes of quantum mechanics. For example, radioactive isotope decay, photon interference, electron tunneling. All of these things have a known statistical distribution.
And so if you imagine something like, imagine you have a wheel that's spinning. It's like a roulette wheel, let's call it. You either have a black marker or a white marker. So this wheel is spinning, spinning, spinning. When the radioactive particle decays, it stops the wheel.
So basically, you've created this perfect digital coin flip. By tying a digital coin flip to a random quantum mechanical process, we are guaranteeing even distribution between ones and zeros over a long enough timescale. Finally, you bring an observer present to see the ones and zeros output on the screen.
Hey, Jesse, how you doing? Good. How are you? Excellent. Come on in.
All right, let's do it. The observer comes in with an intention. They're trying to skew the output on the screen towards either ones or zeros.
I can see you're already trying.
Yeah, should we all try?
Ready?
You'd expect the observer not to matter at all, for the output to be evenly distributed between ones and zeros with an expected standard deviation, no matter who is present, when or where the experiment is done. But my friend, who helped run this Princeton lab, has a ton of corroborated evidence showing that there is a skewing effect, and that an observer who comes in with the intention of ones, or another observer with the intention of zeros, can often achieve a skewing towards those outputs in a statistically significant way.
To the extent that one can summarize, what we find is
Hour
that
and
the
44 minutes.
human mind and the information processing machines seem to be entering into some sort of a dialogue which influences both the machine and
Can I get 70?
the human mind that
Attacking
is
now.
interacting with it.
These experimental trials are very well run, and they adhere to strict scientific protocols. And trust me, I've thrown the kitchen sink of skepticism at it with him. Survivorship bias, p-hacking, file drawer issues, all your typical issues with experimental protocols and data. He has pretty solid responses to all of these.
If you look at it as sort of a social process in science, like if you look at it as a social political process where establishment means that a large cohort of people agree with you, I would say it was never established. It was always very rejected. If you say established means, did you run a well-controlled experiment that got a result at the level, or multiple well-controlled experiments that got a result at the level that, for example, would allow them to say that a new particle exists in physics or something like that, then absolutely.
I did do an episode with him, and maybe when the world is ready, I'll drop it. But for now, I should just say that this is a bridge too far for a lot of people in science. It's an epistemological paradigm shift, not a scientific paradigm shift. It says that the intention and internal state of the observer matters for what's observed. The implications of this are literally impossible to list, but they include and are not limited to an allowance for all sorts of air pockets of different consensus realities. This might explain UFOs, the Mandela effect, and a whole host of other anomalies we experience in our everyday lives that we explain away because we're told that those experiences are fake or can't happen. The crazy thing I've found about random event generators is that there are very few people who've studied them who don't come out believing that there is some sort of mind-matter effect. Even Erwin Schrödinger himself, who again developed the famous wave equation, said that measuring a particle in its present state could affect its past, clearly entertaining parapsychological or parapsychological adjacent ideas. Perhaps one of the better compendiums of parapsychological data is Courtney M. Bloch's Encyclopedia of Parapsychology. But the Ryan Institute from Duke, Paralab at Princeton, and Dean Radin's IONS also have good data on random event generators. The reason random event generators aren't taken seriously, even if they show paradigm-shifting, mind-blowing effects with their results alone, is that we can't figure out some clear causal mechanism, or turn the mind-matter interaction into math, or instrumentalize it into any sort of useful technology.
I think the existing paradigm it serves some purpose, but I think we're in the Stone Age. I think the philosophical toolbox that we're using to enact our existing scientific method is way behind where it would have to be to ever account for this stuff.
But that doesn't mean the effect doesn't exist. It just means we're in the Stone Age on it, and it's likely pointing to a new paradigm. For another example of this in the past, take Mercury's orbit. Newtonian math couldn't describe it. We needed to understand the space-time curvature effect of the sun, and for that, we needed Einstein's relativity. Or take black-body radiation, an object that absorbs all electromagnetic radiation and reflects none of it. This was discovered in the 1860s by Gustav Kirchhoff, but back then it was an anomaly. Theoretically, an object that only absorbed light would exponentially heat up and create an ultraviolet catastrophe. a cataclysmic explosion. We needed Max Planck's work in 1900 around quanta to understand why this doesn't happen mathematically. Random event generators in parapsychology are like this. The effects are real, we just can't turn them into math.
And it was not a subject that I had any background in from a scholarly standpoint.
The guy that started the Princeton Parapsychology Lab was a plasma physicist and propulsions engineer named Bob John. In fact, Bob John was even the dean of Princeton Engineering before starting PAIR. And a lot of his plasma propulsion systems are still used in space.
This guy basically threw away his career in order to pursue this. I'll also say that naively he didn't expect that it was going to be received as sort of atrociously as it was. I think he thought, well, as long as I do good experiments that are well controlled, we'll be treated like everything else in science. So he was sort of, with his age and everything else, kind of coming from a time period where a lot of the early quantum experimental people were just before him. He's kind of coming out of this mindset of reality is this wide open thing. There's a lot to explore and find, and he thought that he was just kind of finding and exploring a new topic. Like, I think it's going to be received that way.
Bob was ahead of his time, and in his book, Margins of Reality, he discusses a model of consciousness in which waves coming from the mind help collapse the wave function. Modern scientist Rupert Sheldrake fully agrees. In fact, that's how he thinks vision works in general.
When light comes in, changes happen in the mind and the brain, and then the images are projected out. So my image of you is exactly where it seems to be. It's in 3D in full color. It's located right where you're sitting, and it overlaps with you, as it were. So everything I see is projected out of my mind, so my mind is extended beyond my brain, filling the whole world around me.
Well, if you think about Penrose's model, he discusses the space-time superposition buildup as occurring within the human brain. If there's anything to this, and the idea that our minds are just graphical interfaces, then of course you'd be able to affect random quantum mechanical processes. You aren't literally affecting the material world with your mind. You're just affecting your unique computational rendering of that material world. Your mind is just an interface. But we keep bringing up this idea that the mind is an interface. Do we have any proof of that? Surely for survival it would make sense that humans would need to be seeing an objective version of reality. Well, that's actually not true at all. Seeing the true nature of reality is not always adaptive for survival. Cognitive psychologist Donald Hoffman shows all of the ways in which perceiving reality actually can hurt chances of survival. Take color. All color is just differentiated by where it sits on the electromagnetic wave spectrum. So why don't we see the wavelengths of light directly? Because it's in a human's advantage to quickly categorize things. It's way more efficient for me to see the color red than a 650 nanometer wavelength to hear a ringing noise instead of 2000 hertz frequency waves. If you see blood, you react immediately. If you see a bunch of light waves, it might take you a little longer to jump into action. So humans have evolved to see colors and sounds. They aren't intrinsic parts of nature. They are high-level abstractions. They're like application icons on a computer screen. They're simple categorizations that allow us to navigate reality, not the source code underlying it. We don't even know the underlying substrate of what we're seeing. And my reality might be very different from your reality.
There's an ocean of pure, vibrant consciousness inside each one of us. And it's right at the source and base of mind, and it's also at the source of all matter.
Nobel Prize-winning physicist Ken Wilson, who worked at CERN in its early years, developed the concept of renormalization, which essentially looks at how the behavior of a physical system changes when viewed at different energy scales. At higher energy levels, new and deeper structures of physical laws emerge, revealing previously hidden phenomena. This process involves progressively zooming in on a system by increasing the energy, and in so doing, stripping away the superficial details of lower energy physics to reveal the underlying, more fundamental interactions. Wilson used renormalization to show that at high energy levels, near critical points such as phase transitions in materials, new universal behavior emerges that applies to a wide range of systems. Essentially, by pushing systems to extreme conditions, near the critical temperature of a phase transition, for example, their underlying dynamics become more evident. In conventional science, this mostly applies to materials and phase transition, but perhaps Wilson's concepts here have more to do with the nature of reality itself than we realize. When we do atmospheric testing of nuclear weapons, we could literally be ripping holes in the fabric of reality.
What if there's something about this technology that actually disrupts physical reality or changes time?
The current paradigm of atomic energy output is the Tsar bomb, which exerts 80 to 100 megatons of TNT. When we get to upwards of 1 times 10 to the 9th tons of TNT, we can start holding space-time at will. If we get to upwards of 1 times... The current paradigm of atomic energy output is the Tsar bomb, which exerts 80 to 100 megatons of TNT. When we get to upwards of 1 times 10 to the 9th tons of TNT, we can start holding space-time at will. If E equals mc squared, then the only way to get this sort of space-time metric effect is if you have enough energy.
You got it, because if you do it, the only two ways to work space-time: mass or amount of energy. Think of mass and energy as the same thing. Mass is ice, energy as steam. Okay, but they're both water.
Yep.
Okay, so same thing kind of here. Energy and mass have this relationship.
So you need to get like scale energy or something.
I cannot, if I use mass to do this, I need mass more than the Earth. I'm going to perturb everything on the planet. So what's probably happening is a whole lot of that.
So for all we know, we're ripping little holes in space-time now. Or sending out exotic electromagnetic or scalar longitudinal waves every time we do a nuclear test. This would explain why UFOs constantly show up around nuclear blasts, as documented by the great work of journalist Robert Hastings. In fact, in his seminal book, UFOs and Nukes, Hastings discusses intelligently moving green fireballs constantly showing up around atmospheric tests. These were documented by Edward J. Ruppel, head of Blue Book at the time, and Dr. Lincoln LaPaz, head of meteorology at University of New Mexico.
The rumors were they're probably Soviet surveillance planes. Surveillance planes, you know, and the controller told me they were basically stationary. You know, are the Soviets flying helicopters over Montana? I don't think so.
So again, with extreme energy output, you rip away higher levels of abstraction, getting to the root information layer of reality and breaking out of the simulation. This even makes sense in quantum mechanics. Remember Heisenberg uncertainty between position and momentum? Well, we also have quantum indeterminacy between time and level of energy. In other words, precise measurements between time and energy trade against each other, and high levels of energy might disrupt time. So you talk about Trinity and you talk about Roswell, and similar things happen in the towns after the explosions. You have people report devils chasing them around and all sorts of paranormal activity.
Yes.
So are you opening up a window to another plane? You say that energy correlates with information.
Yes.
So if you have this massive energy kind of output, then all of a sudden maybe you can see more.
Yes. And it makes an impact that continues. That's permanent. So the question is it a way to, can we walk up the chain of events? Can we get back to the source in some way? Well, the idea that they are from the future is one idea. There's an idea that's more radical. It's that this is all a simulation.
The same bizarre effects may have occurred with Tesla and Thomas Townsend Brown's experiments. Agnew Bonson, who helped establish quantum gravity, which led to string theory with his Institute of Field Physics in North Carolina, was also funding Townsend Brown's high-voltage gravitational experiments at the same time. Bonson is quoted as saying strange things happen at high megavoltage across short distances.
Bonson talks about anomalous phenomena that happen when you get into extremely high voltages that extreme currents.
He was clearly referring to Thomas Townsend Brown's work. Townsend Brown himself thought that his work had clear implications for time travel, and he was very aware that when you mess with gravity, you mess with time. And what about CERN? A single particle beam in the Large Hadron Collider creates 6.5 tera-electron volts. Collide the beams and you're at 13 tera-electron volts. I can't even begin to describe the level of energy output here. What does this have to do with breaking out of the simulation? Well, just listen to what public health expert Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger had to say about her conversation with certain CERN physicists.
There are beings from portals coming in and out. It is physicists from
Oh
certain
shit, I can't fucking.
They've testified to beings coming in and out of portals. Yes.
Okay, so that was the weirdest thing I'm including in this video, and it's definitely not hard evidence. I've emailed Dr. Stuckelberger. If anyone can get in touch with her, vouch for her character, or introduce me, I would welcome it. So I have no idea if portals are being created by CERN's beam collisions. But what about the American Particle Accelerator, the Cosmotron, at Brookhaven National Labs? Cosmotron was the world's highest energy accelerator before the Large Hadron Collider. Well, apparently there was a UFO crash collected by the lab itself in 1992.
It's about 7 o'clock at night, and being November, it was full dark. And all of a sudden, it was lighter out than it is right now.
And what about the plasma orbs that people in and around the NASA space shuttle have described, or the controlled ball lightning that seemed to show up in Germany from 1942 to 1945 called Foo Fighters? Plasma is the fourth energy state after solids, liquids, and gases. It's what happens when you apply extremely high energy to something. For more on this, look at physicist Ken Shoulder's work on exotic vacuum objects. In Ken Wilson's model, an object's plasma state might reflect its true reality more than its lower energy instantiations. So maybe we get to deeper layers of reality, deeper levels of ontological truth with high energy output. And that's just one way to break out of the simulation, but one we should probably be pretty careful with and leave in the hand of experts. Maybe there are other, more natural ways out of the simulation we have a bit more personal control over. Head to AmericanAlchemyMerch.com to grab official American Alchemy merch and support the show directly. And while you're there, the Cowboy UFO tee is a fan favorite we always keep in stock, along with the Atomic Age design. Thank you all so much for following and supporting the show.
Richard Feynman was worried about a number. In the 1940s, he had worked out how electrons interact with light, an insight that earned him a Nobel Prize.
That's fine, sound cool, chat.
The United States overall lost in its relationship with China. And I want to explain the Chinese perspective, because it is true that America did offshore its manufacturing capacity to China. That is true, and that built the Chinese middle class. But what people don't discuss is that China offshored its elite selection and indoctrination to America. Okay, and this is very important. This is something that Americans don't really discuss, meaning that China sent all the wealthiest, brightest students to America to be indoctrinated at the Ivy League universities. And then they came back to control China. And so what this means is that over these past few decades, China's civilization capacity, its intellectual capacity, has been severely downgraded. So even though China has become much more prosperous, we can make the argument that China has been intellectually colonized by America. So the Chinese elite right now have this very neoliberal, very pro-American slant, which I think is going to hinder China's development of civilization for the next few hundred years. Okay, so I will put this caveat out there. Okay, like it's not just China has benefited everything from this relationship. China has lost a lot as well. the United States overall lost in its relationship with China, and I want to.
Can you tell someone's bad with money simply by looking?
Oh, this alien guy. They got
experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you for having me, brother. It's a big honor.
Thank you. An honor for me too. Very excited about this. Very excited to talk to you. There's so many different things to discuss. So, do you know what is going to be released? So supposedly this is the week of some kind of disclosure. Can you give us any insight as to what's going on?
Oddly enough, I got a call that tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I'm going to be briefed over the phone by, I think one of Headseth's top dogs is going to go over some stuff with me that they've got, and I have no earthly idea. I don't want everybody to get their hopes up. I don't have a lot of faith in our government. President Trump's always been great to me. He's never lied to me, but I don't know that he knows the right questions to ask and the right people to talk to, because this thing's been covered up at least since 1947, and I just don't think they're gonna. They don't give up that easy. The war pimps, the Pentagon, and everybody else, they just don't give up that easy.
How did you come to understand all this stuff? Like, what was your understanding of it before you got into government?
I had pretty cool parents. Right now, they would. Daddy was an old World War II Marine. Mama flew an airplane during the Second World War. I mean, they were badasses. They were good Christian people, but my daddy was a stone cold killer. I mean, he was the real deal. He was on Peleliu in Okinawa, the Marine Corps. Of course, Mama's oldest brother Roy got killed fighting the Nazis. Mama did her part. This little country girl didn't have electricity until she was a senior in high school. So I've kind of lived the American dream, but they would let me, they'd let me get bloodied up, and then they would patch me up and let me go. I could ride my bike to the library, or the library if you're in East Tennessee. And it was, about a mile from the house. And they'd go in there and they have these books set up. They had all this stuff on this wild stuff. There's a book on UFOs, and I just picked it up and started reading it. I probably wasn't, 7 or 8 years old, and I just always followed it. The magazine articles, and I'd go out at night, hope to see a UFO. Never did, never have, until some of the briefings I've been in. But and then I'm walking down the street, and can I mention another news source? Is that okay? I was walking down the street, and TMZ there was a guy there. This black fella, his name's Colin. He's a buddy of mine. Doesn't work for him anymore, but he was filming, and he said, "Hey, Congressman," he said, "you want me to comment on the UFO thing?" He couldn't get anybody to comment. I said, "Well, sure." I said, "They're going to tell you you're going to issue your report, and it's going to be loaded, and everybody's freaking out. It's going to be the greatest thing. It's going to be total disclosure." And then they're going to put something out. It looked like somebody shot it with a dadgum 12 gauge. It's just going to have holes in it. It's all redacted. And I said, and they're not going to put it out this week. It'll be weeks later. And that's exactly what they did. They had a report. I felt like had some information in that was new to the public. And they did what they always do. They hid it, covered it up. And then everybody saw it. And I said on it,
that's the one we were talking about bases in the ocean.
No. That's a different one. This is totally different. This is out on the street corner. And then I started getting calls from people literally all over the world. And I've talked to legislators in Russia over this issue. And people start just stop down street corners and say, "Hey, man, really appreciate you going for disclosure." I have doctors tell me this, lawyers, engineers. I have military people that have seen things that they can't describe. I've had members of Congress. There's a few bullies in Congress. They'll make fun of me and say smart aleck stuff, but put it out there to your people. It's over 55% of the American population feels like we're not alone. I mean, seriously, you go out there and look at those every night. My dogs, they got to take a leak. They never want to take a leak at like 9 o'clock. It's always 3 o'clock in the morning. I look at those dadgum stars, man, and the light from those stars left there before the time of Christ. And the light from some of those stars, the stars were combusted. I mean, they're not even there anymore. And, light years to us is something that's hard to understand. And we are just
one grain of sand on a billion beaches, and I still don't think we're the best thing God can do. I just can't imagine we're His shining. We're the one they put on the mantle. Oh look, He made humans. Well, we've kind of screwed things up. So I read my Bible, and a lot of the Christian folks knock me. They talk about it's demons, and I said, well, I'm good with Jesus. I'm not worried about demons. I'm not going to worry about that. I don't think they're demons. I don't know why would they don't have to fly around in some craft. It's just, to me, it's hard to imagine. But the underwater thing was, I was getting briefed by, and he was a former admiral, came into my office, and Joe, it was a very friendly conversation, and I'm always a little couched I hold back a little bit because I think there's a psyop going on with some of these departments. I was briefed by one of our alphabet agencies not long ago, and the final thing was somebody said, well, we got more information. It says, we just don't have the funding for that, Congressman. And, and I know they're reading the polling data, and they're saying, well, let's shake loose the money tree for us. That's part of it, too. And I warned people about that. But I guess in a nutshell, that's pretty much it.
So when you first got in, how long have you been in government for?
8 years in Congress. I was in our state legislature, Tennessee, 16 years, and then I was county mayor for 8 years.
So was it when you got into Congress that you first started getting inside information about what's going on?
Yeah.
So that was that 8 years ago, or when was it?
Probably 6 years ago. 5 or 6. No, let's see. It was during Trump's first administration, so it would have been about 8 years ago.
And do you remember what it was? Do you remember how you were introduced to it?
We just raised total hell about it. And then,
why?
Because it's a cover-up. Nobody would give us information.
Well, what made you think it was a cover-up? Why did you think?
I guess I just don't trust government. I've been in government most of my life, and I just don't trust it.
I understand that, but was there something that led you to want to pursue this particular subject?
No, just it kind of pursued me after I did that TMZ interview. People started calling me, and then people would, I would get phone calls from people.
But the TMZ interview was fairly recent, right?
No. That was one that was what started it all 7 or 8 years ago. I'm sorry. I didn't explain.
No, that's okay. But you had an interest from the time you were a child, and then getting into government. What was like the first introduction where you had an idea that there's something going on?
When I started asking questions, and we just get to run around.
Like what kind of questions?
Like, what is this? Where are you seeing these things? And we would get people. I had an interesting meeting in my office with some people that were nationally known, and they came by to see me. And they just wouldn't talk to me about it, and I was. And they started telling me things. And then I had a group come to my house. I said, y'all just come by the office in D.C. and we'll talk. They said, we don't feel comfortable doing that. And they came by the house and they said, can we hook up to your television? I said, well, sure. And they hooked up the computer to it, and they were showing me objects that were flying and granted, I'm not an astrophysicist by any stretch of imagination, but they were showing me things that were flying at speeds that were just nothing compares. And the angles that they were taking would literally, and I've said this before, and it grosses people out, but it would turn you or me into a ketchup package. I mean, you go this way, then boom, you're going this way, and we have no capability of any of it. And now I've been briefed so many times on different groups. We scrub missions because these things are out there. And then we tell everybody that's involved to keep your mouth shut. And then if you're a pilot and you come back and say, hey, I've seen this, you immediately pulled off the flight line. I'm not a pilot or military person, but flight line is what I call it. They're not able to fly, and they're given a psych evaluation, and they're given an 8-hour, they call it a debriefing. I've been told by some of the officers that have been involved, it's really just an interrogation. And then you got that hanging on your record. And
so it influences them to stop.
They just keep your mouth shut. I literally had a guy tell me, Joe, that he said his recorder, it was an older style plane, and I think he said it was close to his right knee. And when he got that on his recorder, he started smashing it with his right knee. to discombobulate it so that it wasn't even, because he didn't want anything that he did not need it. He saw it. He didn't need it on his record. Even if he saw it, it was on a dadgum tape. They drag it in. And so, you know, myself, Luna, and Matt Gates went down to Florida to be briefed by. Matt was told that some pilots had seen some things. They had some photographs. And so we go down there, and again, we go in. I told Matt, I said, Matt, they don't give them this stuff easy. We're going to go down there, and I have a bad feeling they're going to turn us out. Well, we went down there, and Joe, they briefed us on some very serious issues that they were dealing with the Chinese and communist infiltration, things going on around Florida in the ocean. But they didn't ever have they wouldn't bring the pilots in. Matt said, hey, I understand all this, but this is not why we came down here. And Matt's, you say what you want to about Matt Gates, but he's a great orator and he's a great attorney, and he just started flailing on them. And he told them, he said, here's what's going to happen. You're going to jerk me around. I said, I'm going to subpoena you all. We're going to call you all back to Washington. And I remember looking over in the corner at the suits, and I said, I called them spooks because they were obviously some sort of military intelligence or CIA. And I leaned over to Matt and I said, the spooks are getting nervous, brother, because they were kind of shifting around. And they shut us down. They said, no, we're not going to do it. And Matt said, I'm calling whoever Big Air Force was. Matt, it was on one of the military committees. He called, and an hour later, they stuck us up in this room and had microphones under the desk. I remember Luna reached under and unplugged them. And they had a nice fruit tray that you paid for, taxpayers. Thank you very much. So I went and did like a jackass eating salt fryers. I just ate and I didn't care. And so finally came back in an hour and the guy says, I don't know who you all called, but you're going to get your briefing. They're bringing the pilots in. And literally, they brought these pilots in and they were in their flight gear. And they just come out of the planes. And they were the ones. They described things, and it's been reported now. It's been reported to the public, but it was these craft that were hovering for extended periods of times and could shoot straight up at incredible speeds that we don't have capabilities of doing. And those are the kind of thing. And two, this was military people. These were top people. These are like equivalent, not they just some of our top people. And I know folks are going to say, well, it's probably the Russians. Well, it's the Russians, dadgummit. They wouldn't be tied up down in Ukraine for how many years? And Putin's such an egomaniac, he flies a saucer to Pennsylvania Avenue to get out and probably wrestle Trump in the front yard or something, bare-chested, ride a unicorn or something, I don't know. If it's China, they own us, even more than they already do. And then people say, well, it's ours, Virgin, this is ours, that they don't want to release it. Well, think about this. President Trump, and he should have, and I give him great credit for that pilot that got knocked down over in Iran. We spent untold millions of dollars to bring that cat home, and we should have, because it sends a message to our enemies and it sends a message to our fighting men and women that we're not going to leave behind us. Many presidents have done many times. There's no way on God's green earth that they would risk a $500 million aircraft with something flying around it and risk those guys' life and all that training and put these guys in harm's way. And that's exactly what they're doing. I mean, these things are busting cockpits. And it's not an everyday occurrence. It's in certain areas, and that's where the deep water thing comes in. The deep water bases. I was sort of misquoted. I was just telling what I was told, and but it makes a lot of sense that these deep water areas are where we see a lot of sightings, and we've seen craft underwater that do something over 200 miles an hour that on the sonar pickup are as big as a Wadeckham football field. And the best we don't have anything bigger than a football field. Maybe in length, but not in underwater anyway. And the best we can do is maybe upper 30 mile an hour, maybe something like that. I don't know. But 200 miles an hour, that's just out of the question. And these things don't have a heat signature. And I hope though that they release some of the footage that we've seen, some that we haven't, that we've been rumored that's out there. What I'm afraid, though, it's going to get so sanitized and it's going to get cleaned up. I mean, even Obama, he said, yeah, there are aliens out there. And then in a recent interview I saw just last week or so, he's backed up on that. I was just kidding. I was just kidding. You know, and
I saw Trump when he was getting interviewed. He said Obama shouldn't have said that because it's classified. He goes, but I might release it. I might make it unclassified.
And I hope he does. And I told him that. I talked to the president about it, and I said, you know, Mr. President, it's like layers of an onion. Just keep peeling it back, and I hope he does, because
he might be the only one that would ever.
Only one with enough guts.
Yeah,
because he's not beholden
my
to that
bad.
bunch. All they've done is try to bury him.
I'm tired.
Yeah. So when these men came to you and they hooked up the computer to your television and showed you, did they tell you why they wanted you to see this stuff?
They just thought I should know about it because I was asking the right questions. And then shortly after that, I was go ahead.
I'm sorry, were you told that you were not supposed to tell people about this? Were you?
No, but it's interesting. I had that deep throat moment, you know,
Deep throat moment. Whoa.
the Richard
You
Nixon
said
moment,
not
you
the
know, where I
porn
was
version. What
walking in the tunnel one
What the-
day, and a person came up to me. It's
What
always a friend. It's always a friend that does this. It's just the strangest conversation, but I'll never forget it because he said, Bridget, he said, you know, you're really pushing on this UFO thing. And I go, yeah, I am. He said, do you really think we need to do this? And I just kept listening. When I was a young man, I'd run my mouth and said, oh, shut up. But I listened to what he said. He said, mate, you know, this could upset the religious community and all this other. I mean, some of this stuff just left unknown, you know? And I said, no, it's not. And the government has no right to decide what I can and cannot understand or handle or see. And to me, and every time, Joe, let me tell you what they're going to do. I had a 2-page bill for disclosure. And Chuck Schumer had one that was 60 pages, I believe. And he modeled his after the Kennedy assassination committee release, which is we're over 60 years into that. They haven't released everything that on President Kennedy getting shot. And that's what they wanted to model this damn thing after. Mine was 2 pages long. Of course, mine didn't get anywhere. I was told by a member of leadership, they come and sit with me. I call it Senator's Row. I sit on the back row, second from the back on the aisle. Everybody gets in trouble. They come sit with me sometimes. And I was told by a member of leadership that the intelligence community was unhappy with what I was doing. And then I got a phone call from a former member of President Trump's staff who told me that I needed to, I forget his exact terminology, but he said, you need to get some bodies around you. And so, you know, I don't know what that means. I mean, I'm the 435th most powerful member of Congress, so they bump me off, and it's going to be like there'll be one tear shed on the House floor. That'll be because I owed somebody $10. I didn't pay them back, and then they'll move on to the next guy. So,
well, I'm sure you're aware of this narrative about missing scientists. Scientists that have turned up dead, have been killed.
100%. And that's real. I think I have a theory on that. I know it's a little dangerous to throw these things out, but I was on maybe Fox one time, and I just came up with this. I said, say your family's mobbed up, okay, and y'all own a nice Italian restaurant, and it's world renowned, and you're busting at the seams, you know, you're franchising and putting out cookbooks and everything. You got this one chef who's the kingpin of all of it, but you're afraid he's talking to your competitors. Now, you don't bump him off. What you do is you rough up a few of the busboys. That sends a quick dadgum message that you need to shut your mouth. And timing is everything, and nothing happens by accident in Washington, D.C. To me, I think the timing is it's uncanny. You got a president, you know, we had these hearings in Washington. You have a president that says he's going to release stuff. And all in that same time frame before and after that, you're having some of these high-ranking officials disappear. And to me, nobody disappears in this country unless they want to disappear. You know, there's cameras everywhere, and it reeks of deep state sewer.
UFC 328 is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook makes every fight night mean more. When a fighter steps into the octagon, everything they built comes down to this moment. Stars explode, stars finish, and with DraftKings, you're ready to move when they do. Bet fighter props, bet live from the opening bell, the final horn, every strike, every takedown, every finish,
Let's stretch out,
matters. And DraftKings Sportsbook keeps you connected as the action unfolds. New DraftKings customers spend $5 and you'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code ROGAN so you're ready for the moment. That's code ROGAN for new DraftKings customers to turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-OPEN-Y or text OPEN-Y. Connecticut, 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois, 21 and over in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms or responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
Yeah, I thought one of the things that I thought of is one of the subjects that these people they're all working on different things, but they're working on alternative energy sources.
Yeah, that's the club. I'm sorry to be a coach,
No, it's right.
but that's what ties them together. I think. And two, they're one of them spouse said, "Oh, my husband or wife or whatever never did anything with UFOs." Well, they don't talk about it. It's actually it's a pretty close knit group, and I always remember this. I knock on doors. That's how I got elected. Nobody really did. There's not a lot of people like me that come from a family of public educators that get elected to Congress. All right, most of my contributions are $25, and somebody wraps a Bible verse around it. Tells me they're praying for me. The big boys, they're always for me the day after the election. All right, they always say, "Oh, let me write you a check." And we're with you all along. I always say, "Yeah, I felt it right there towards the end, you know." But I'm knocking on this guy's door down in Farragut, and he's putting his flag out. And he's an older gentleman, and I said, "Hey, brother, did you serve?" And he said, "No, you know, it's East Tennessee, you know." And he kind of held his head down. "No, I didn't. No, I didn't." And I said, he said, "I worked at Oak Ridge." And I said, "Brother," I said, "my daddy was on Okinawa when they dropped the bomb. They were getting ready to invade mainland Japan." I said, "My mom and daddy were alive today. They would hug you because they put it together." And he told me, he said, "Tim, before I left," he said, "a funny thing." He said, "My wife worked there too. And you know, she worked on I think he said he was fuse or something, and I worked on a timer on the atomic bomb." He said, "I didn't know what she did the entire time that we were working there." That's called compartmentalization, and that's what you have here. And if I could elaborate just a little bit more, you're familiar with FOIA. I mean, you're a member of the Media Freedom of Information Act. It means I could request from a federal agency, the FBI, they probably would give it to me, but any information. But I can't go after like Ford Motor Company, okay? So what they've done is they've given this information, whatever, if it's craft, it's material, if it's bodies, I don't know. Well, I have my suspicion. They've given them, there's 4 or 5 major contractors that you see that are always the ones that are putting it out there. They're missile defense systems. They're coming up with this new metallurgy, these new propulsion systems. And I think that whatever they had, they gave to them early
I'm
on.
sorry,
And they're
attractive.
but they're so far disconnected from the government, and I keep touching. And the people that are working on it, there's nobody alive around Roswell or any of that stuff that was in and around those years that's still alive or still working. So all those people are gone. I mean, that's the best secret you can keep. You tell somebody and they die, and that's exactly what they've done. And you know, we've been given places, addresses, and things, and everybody says, "Oh man, get out to Area 51, merchant, and see what's out there." There ain't nothing to freaking Area 51. As soon as we announce where we're going, the U-Haul vans have already been there and left, you know. And so what it's going to take is it's going to take a scientist or somebody that's going to have to walk out of one of those dead labs before they're allowed to commit suicide by shooting themselves in the back of the head 10 times with a shotgun or something. So,
Do you know the Bob Lazar story?
I do. I've never met Bob. I know a buddy of mine, I guess, a friend of mine, I think, sort of broke that story.
George Knapp?
Yeah, Knapp. I'm sorry. I haven't slept much in the last 48 hours or Yeah, George. I met him through all this, and it was a big honor because I grew up watching George. I mean, he's a cool guy.
He's awesome.
I love him. He comes to my office and we hang out. I mean, you know,
That's great.
people get, you know, they get kind of starry-eyed when they see somebody like yourself or Kid Rock or somebody, but for me, it was George Knapp because, I mean, you know, because I'd ask him stuff. He goes, yeah, that was a report I did when, and because I'm, you know.
Yeah, he's very careful about what he says too. He's not a guy who says anything that he can't.
And he documents it.
Yeah.
You ever seen his files? I mean, it's just it's a myriad of
He's very even keeled and fair in the way he assesses things. He's not hyperbolic. The way he describes things is like as clean and as accurate as possible.
He's not trying to sell T-shirts, really.
Right.
I mean, he's a true journalist. You know, I wish
We're
there were people
almost
looking at a guy
at
like that and say, that's the way we need to go journalists.
The real journalist who didn't start off with this whole UFO thing, he didn't want to do it. He was an actual, just regular journalist until Bob Lazar contacted him. And that story, I've met Bob on a couple times. In fact, this is how popular this idea is in the American zeitgeist. The Bob Lazar episode of this podcast is the most viewed episode that I've ever had.
How many viewers we got?
Yeah,
Let's
it's
go.
got 65.
Put an L in this chat if you're here.
Views right now. Yeah. I mean, a guy who's just talking about how he used to work at S4, Area 51 Site 4, where he was back engineering UFOs. Right. And there's a new documentary that he just did called S4, where they use CGI and they made models of the craft and they made him, like they brought him, you know, they used this technology that makes it look like he's a lot younger.
Why they hit me with
And they showed like what his experience was. They completely recreated it down to a T. And Jamie and I got the chance to watch it with him, with Bob and Elise. You know what I mean? You know, and it's been watching how emotional he gets when he's in the room. It's like this is it. This is like this freaks me out. It like brings me back because we're talking about 1988, 1989 when all this was going on.
And he really, you know, the last report I saw, it's some interview at his house. I mean, he had like a mid-80s Corvette or something. You know, he hasn't cashed in on it like everybody else seems to do.
No, he hasn't made any money off of it, and he's still just a legitimate scientist. He runs United Nuclear Labs. That's what he does. And he's a brilliant guy. And doesn't want the attention. It was very difficult to get him to come back in a second time, you know, and he wanted to wait until this documentary was out, come in and talk again, but he got freaked out. He drank a lot of whiskey. You know, he gets weirded out by it all. It's all, like, to him, the whole experience was very surreal and strange, and
well, you got to figure he's the one that escaped from all of it and is still alive. So how he got out and was able to do it before they could silence him. They tried to discredit him, said he didn't work there, and then I think he produced check stubs even.
Well, not just that, they tried to pretend that he never worked at Los Alamos Labs, he was on the employee roster. There was a lot of stuff going on with the but he went public because he was afraid they're going to kill him. You know, because the initial one, they gave a fake name, and he was a silhouette, he told a story, but then his home got broken into, his car was getting broken into, he got shot at on the highway. It got real weird, and so he said, look, I've got to go public. It might be the only way to protect myself. And he told the whole story, and he hasn't deviated from that story. And that's what's really kind of crazy, because it's been, 40-something years or close to?
These guys, they ask those questions, they always, and then they say, was it red? No, it's green. And then they were adamant that it was red 10 years ago.
Right.
Everything about him has been that and I've seen, there was a documentary on him, and they asked somebody to analyze him. Is he telling the truth or not? I think he's telling the truth.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's lying. But I mean,
I'm in the business, I'm in Congress, so he's an amateur, we're professionals out there. You only think you can tell a lie.
They're not very good. There's people in Congress that are liars. The problem with liars is they don't really have a good understanding of the truth. Because if you're lying all the time and you're forging this like fake narrative, people see that. And so that when you try to say it as the truth, it doesn't come off like the truth. There's a feeling that people get when they talk to you. Now there's some real crazy people that can just lie, like really insane. But generally they lie about a bunch of stuff. They don't just have one lie from 1989.
The term pathological comes to mind. That bass was this big.
Well, his story, though, one of the interesting things is
pace at which the craft moved. And then decades later, we have footage that shows these crafts rotating in the direction that they want to travel, then zooming off. And then, of course, there was the Commander David Fravor incident of the coast of San Diego in 2004. And if that was our technology, the thing that puzzles me is if we had something in 2004 that could go from 50,000 feet above sea level to sea level in under a second, I can't imagine that 22 years later, there would be no advances that it would have leaked through into mainstream technology.
Well, the energy.
Yes.
The energy itself. You know, we heat our homes in the winter and cool them in the summer. But then again, I always throw out the war pimps. My daddy fought for this country, and I'm not a, you know, that's their business is war, and their business is very good. They will quickly, you know, stand up and trash a guy like Faber. He testified before our committee, and I was taken by what he said. I know him pretty well now, but we, you know, we had the committee, which was crazy. Me and Luna and a bunch of others got together and said, "Man, we got to do this committee. We need to do this." And so I went to the chairman, and he said, "Sure." And then they sort of blew it off, and then they wanted I go see the staff of these committees. That's the real problem in Washington. Reagan said invest don't turn women politicians, turn women staff. You know, I go in there and I'm told, yeah, well, I think we want to just talk about this Chinese hot air balloon. So we want to really talk about. I said, no, hell no, that's not right techno. We want to talk about UFOs. What people are calling us about constantly. I mean, it was just getting so much airplay. And then I was told by some old timers, which was kind of cool. They said that, you know, Tim, I've been here 10, 15 years. And said that was the most attended committee that they ever remember. They had to open up another room so people could be there. I walked out. I was on Fox that morning, and I was going out. I left my office at 4:30 in the morning, and I was outside. And I remember it's hot because it was summertime, and there was people already outside lining up that had come from all over the country on their own dime. I mean, these were like wealthy people. I mean, one guy said, "This is our vacation this year. We're coming to this damn committee meeting." And Joe, they were lined up around the hall, around everywhere. And that's where I met Sean Ryan and a bunch of people. And it was amazing to me. And that's when Congress started paying attention to it because they realized that the voters were paying attention to it.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the only way to put pressure on them. The thing about the alternative energy sources, one of the things that I was thinking is that if you were involved in whatever, petroleum, whatever your business is, and there's
Put them out of business.
Yeah.
Them and the Pentagon. That was my point on the Pentagon.
Yeah.
They would put them out of business, but the oil companies out of business. Because they say we're even showing a dead heat signature.
Right.
You know, if a blackbird flies across my farm, it's going to put out a dead heat signature.
Right.
And through the all the technology we had, as they call them, tic tac. Tic tacs. Yeah, they look like the little men, you know, and that's what they were.
That's what Commander David Fravor saw. Yeah, and not only saw, but there's video footage of it, there's radar footage of it. It's exhibiting travel that's just beyond comprehension for modern technology, for current state technology.
100%.
But if these people were working on some sort of new energy source or some sort of new propulsion system, and you got to imagine there's a very small amount of people that are on the cutting edge of whatever this stuff is. If this is like groundbreaking technology that's not known by mainstream physicists or whoever's working on it, and you only have a small group of people, you whack one of them, you put a big stop to any progress, especially if you get the main people, the lead scientist, and that guy winds up getting assassinated or winds up in
disappears.
Disappeared. The one lady was the weird one. So she's walking with her.
She hiking or something?
Yes. Yeah. Walking with her friend. Her friend turns around and talks to her, and then walks a little further, turns around to say something again, and she's gone. Just gone. And they bring in dogs. They have cadaver dogs. They can't find her. There's no trace. No one's seen her since. And this lady was apparently, wasn't she involved in some sort of alternative technology, alternative.
Metallurgy was her deal. So you think these, whatever these craft or whatever have to be something. And I said this earlier on one time, and it made a lot of sense. I was surprised at something I said did, but it sort of stuck. It's like, well, why don't they just bring it all out now if they've got it? I don't think we've got the technology to figure out what the heck it is. Like, I ride motorcycles. I got an old 47 Indian Chief. If I were to take that thing back to the when they came over in the Mayflower, they would see it and think that's kind of unusual. They might worship because it has a god. I sometimes do when I go out to the garage, but they're not gonna be able to adjust the valves. They're not gonna know what the heck spark plug is. They probably wouldn't be able to figure out how to make the fuel with a high enough octane that they can kick over. I think that they might polish it. They might get it started. And I think that's sort of where we're at with this stuff, Joe. I think it's I think a lot of them have something and they just don't know what to do with it.
Well, that's Bob Lazar's take on it, and that was his take on it when he was working there in 1989. He said they understood how to turn it on. They didn't exactly understand how it worked or what it did, and they wanted him to try to figure it out.
Those guys that came to my house, they talked about that and how something could travel at these light years, and one of them was an astrophysicist. And I don't really understand astrophysics, but it took me 6 years to get out of UT, and I didn't drink or smoke pot, so I'm just going to elaborate a little bit about the review, brother. I have a degree in shop, technological adult education. I can fix your lawnmower, convert your house if you need a wire. I'll always have a job. So you got something vibrating over here, and instantly it's over here.
Right.
And that's sort of the way they explain it, put it on my level to understand it. And I mean, to me, it proves that there's a God. I mean, because it's an instantaneous travel that we don't quite comprehend. Now, is there friction involved? And that's where when they see these blobs out there that are floating around, that are lit up. I've had several people tell me about that and how these. There was one incident where they surrounded a group of our aircraft, and it was and a lot of them deal with nuclear weapons. It seems that we're around some nukes we had. I always remember I went in and it's been a long time since you had a man bun, so I'm gonna knock on this. I had this bureaucrat with a dadgum man bun telling me. I asked him about a certain incident, and he said, "Oh, we don't have data points on that, Congressman." And I said, "Well, what about this deal?" And he said, "I don't know what you're talking about." I said, "Well, Google it. Everybody in the world knows about." We had a nuclear power plant that had these things fly over, and the dadgum thing shut down. I mean, it's been documented.
Yeah.
It has been documented unequivocally, and and then you have members of Congress go, "Well, they said it didn't exist, so I'm good." And I'm like, no, I'm sitting there reading these officers that are obviously I read people. God gives us all a gift. My gift is reading somebody. And I was reading these military officers, they had the full, they had all of it. They've been serving for a while, and some of them had done some things. And I could just sit there reading them. They're thinking, this little twerp right here beside me, I'd choke him out if I could. They were just like, no, not at me, at him, at him, because they wanted to tell something, and this was a bad appointee, and it just, and that's a lot of the times. I was in one situation, I'll just call it, where they sent somebody in basically just to disrupt, to throw at a witness, and that witness he was like a pro ball player hitting T-ball, man. He was just knocking them out of the dadgum park. Every quay, he said, "What about?" And he gave a date. He said, "Oh, you're talking about this incident. Well, let me tell you what happened there." And he would go through everything, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And then he got disgusted and ended up leaving the meeting. And and that's they send people in to disrupt. They're just not going to turn. And I don't know if the fact that and the corruption in Washington D.C. is not like it used to be. It's not like, oh, I got a picture of you sleeping with some hooker over in Istanbul. Oh, make copies. I want to take it to my buddies. I mean, that's not what you get now. But the way it is now is, I think, is that some members have a family member or a wife and or girlfriend that could work for one of these groups. And they're told, hey, you want to keep your dadgum job, or you want these pictures to come out, or whatever. We need a little help here. And then they go disrupt and come into the committee meetings and ask ridiculous questions to try to get a partisan fight going. And maybe some of them do it unbeknownst to them what they're being told to do, but they do it because they're just lapdogs.
So there's a strategy where they have a bunch of people that they sort of compromise as disruptors,
And they are compromised. Exactly, that's the word. I was on I'm going to say another one. I was on the Benny show early when he was early on, and I was talking
Benny Johnson.
Yeah. And so he's been very kind to me, and so he asked me about how do they do it, and I said, well, they used to do this thing called the honey pot. You know, you'd go to I never go on trips. The only trip I've ever been on a Codell was to the border down here, down in Texas, and I went down for one day, flew down here, saw the border, saw all the people coming over the border, got in an airplane, flew home. It was about an 18-hour trip. It wasn't any luxury. I stayed in the room that my buddies at the frat house would have probably asked for our money back. And it was pretty rough, you know. Got some good barbecue, though. But anyway, so these guys go on these trips, and say you're sitting down at the bar. I mean, you're a good-looking guy. Some girl comes up to you, or some guy, whatever your interest, whatever your proclivities are, laughing at your jokes, and next thing you know, you're up in the bedroom, naked with them, and then you think, man, I pulled this off. I was at this smoke show, and my wife and kids don't know about it, and I'm just gonna, just between me and the Lord. And then you're getting ready to make a kibo. When a staffer comes up or a lobbyist or something, you're in the hall and says, hey, I said, yeah, man, how's it going? He said, you got this big boat? Yeah, but I'm not for y'all on this one. Okay, we understand. He said, hey, were you in a motel room in Istanbul with a pretty redhead one time? And they say, man, I don't want that out of the record. Well, we don't want it out. We just need your help. And that's how they sink their claws into you. They used to. And they might do that now, but I was on the Benny show and I was talking about that. Oh man, I caught it. It's leadership, members. Man, everybody thinks we're sleeper. I said, I didn't say everybody. I just said some of y'all are. I said, don't. And every day there's a new one getting in trouble, so it's not any big secret. 435 of us. So
you have 435 people. You got to have a few freaks in there. 435 group of any human beings. Especially, if you can compromise a man with beautiful women, it's not that hard to do.
Or if they're gay and they don't want it out in their public or whatever. So I said this to Benny, and I caught it. And then about a week later, and I said it's probably the Chinese, the Russians, or something. They busted a Chinese prostitution ring. And what did they list as their clientele? Lobbyists, government employees, and politicians. Of course. And then what happened the next week? That story went away. And Benny does this thing. He showed me walking out, and I throw a match, and the whatever behind me just burst into flames, and I'm walking out. It's really cool. And he also did a song of me singing "Dadgum," which is my cuss. I don't cuss. I say "Dadgum," but he did that. But anyway, that was my point: is that they use this stuff, and they know what we want. These guys, these countries, they know, they own the internet, so they know which porn you look at in the privacy of your home, that you think you got this private name on your freaking computer, and they know, and so that's what they're going to hit you with. So anyway, that's a long story, but I think mostly it's just jobs now.
Mostly jobs and influence.
Yeah.
Well, we think about,
you get a dirt bag, you're going to get him to sleep with some hooker. That's going to happen, eventually too. But I don't know if it's that prevalent. And I had a lobbyist tell me one time. He was his name was Tom Hensley. He was a Golden Goose. He was a liquor lobbyist in Nashville, Tennessee. And he was a caricature of what the lobbyist is. He three-piece suit, big old cowboy boots, smoking a cigar. And we were at the Crown Plaza where he liked me, because I never would vote for his liquor bills, but I never would vote for a tax on them either. So we were there, and the guy from the governor's office came and just chewed both of us out. He's treating me. I'm a legislator, and he was treating me like a dog. And he goes sitting back here, and he had that fancy Jack Daniels Black Label or whatever it is, the fancy version of it is, because he represented Jack Daniels, made in Tennessee. And he pulls that big $5 cigar out of his mouth, and he goes, "Virgin." He goes, "Governors come and go, but the old goose will be sitting right here." And he said, I said, well, what are you going to do? Is he going to shut you down, man? All these, you going to tell these people stuff? He goes, Virgin, I just need one chairman. I don't need to put in one body of the house. The house was, I just need one chairman that'll listen. He wasn't saying, he never did anything crooked before me, and he never offered me any bribes or anything. Right. But that was a good lesson to learn as a young man when I was in state legislature.
Well, if you just think about how much money Congress people wind up leaving office with, just that alone is incentive to play ball.
I mean, you don't think we're making 16,000% on our own knowledge? I got my daughter called me a while back and said, Dad, and she's super smart. She's do anything, a veterinary doctor, got a brain surgeon. She's crazy smart. I married my wife and adopted her. My wife was a woman. Genetically, she's not mine, but when she gets into trouble, my wife says that's all you two virgin. But she's an exceptional little girl. And she said, Dad, I think I'd just like to cut hair.
That is crazy.
Right on, girl. You go and do it. And that's what she does. I mean, she's going to school to do that. So I cashed out my $11,000 portfolio, which was a mutual fund, because I think